So, The Night Comes for Us is a 2018 Netflix movie directed by Timo Tjahjanto, and he has done other films, or he's been involved in the VHS series, very popular horror franchise that I've yet to check out. I really do have to check some of them out. But it looks like a bunch of other horror-ish type of vibe. Very cool. But a lot of the stars are the main actor. I know Joe Taslim, big guy, the main guy in The Raid. No, he's very popular, as well as Iko, and he is as well in The Raid. Apparently, he's in Star Wars as well. Just a very low ranking, low billing. I don't actually know what his character was, but yeah, Night Comes for Us. Indonesian, crazy action thriller, very bloody. It was a very simple story, very simple gangster story. Yeah, these guys, they're doing their gangster stuff, but then one of them has a heart of gold. That type of trope. But I think it really does pull it off well because it was very stylized and it knew it was very simple. But the simple techniques that it did use, they did them very well. And yeah, it was easy to follow. It was easy to follow their motivations. And the characters, they butt heads. They're great actors, great fighters. And yeah, it was good. It was just a very well-made action movie. But I think my gripe with the movie is that, it was also a gripe I had with John Wick 3. Because the action was so heavily focused on and so heavily choreographed, and it takes up 80% of this movie, at some points, those action movies where they're trying to pull off these cool moves, they're trying to make the choreography so cool, so perfect, it does feel like choreography at some points. Are people really going to fight like this? I get it, they're very highly trained assassins. They're part of this elite group, the elite triad assassins. But fights are just dirty, unpredictable. And it felt like in this movie, a lot of them were very shiny and polished, which I feel like is a detriment to some fight scenes, unfortunately. And again, with John Wick 3, there was so much action. And I feel like they did the bit where they had to reload so often. And I know, yes, if you are shooting a gun a lot, you probably will have to reload a lot. And they want to make it very realistic. But it just felt like they went for a cliche moment where they both had to reload at the same time every time. And there was just so much fighting. And it was just when you think somebody's down, they come back up from these wounds that would definitely just cripple anybody. And I think the same goes for this movie. There's so many moments. I feel like when the main character isn't there, when all of his buddies are trying to escape some people, I feel like that scene went on for so long. There are so many cronies that just come in bursting through the door. Then they go in the hallway, then they go in the elevator, then they go in the parking garage. And it was nonstop. And I know some people love that. And it was done very, very well. But I think at a point when there's just so insanely saturated with action that sometimes maybe it's just not for me. And that's fine. Because again, it was very, very well done. Very competently, well, not just competently, very professionally made. And yeah, that's the best part of it. It's very polished, and the kills are cool. It's very, very bloody. And which, yeah, it was great to see for a movie like this. It was absolutely just it was balls to the wall in a good way. And I think that I liked the entire setup of how the world works, where there's this elite group of assassins and it's hard to get in. And the main characters are actually just bad people. But again, it's the gangster heart of gold, so we have to root for him. But it's yeah, the gangsters really are just bad people. Not only are they gangsters in the first place and they think they have some moral high ground, because compared to the other worse gangsters, they're just not as bad. But fully on into spoilers now, the main guys kind of just get destroyed at the end. And so the actual innocent little girl does get away. And a really good point was that the wife character, who would usually be the stereotype they have to fight for the wife character and get her back because maybe she got captured or something. They tell her to leave. And then she leaves, which is like the smart thing to do. She just like, they're like, yeah, just like take a bus out of here, make sure she's safe. And then she was safe. And what was that guy? The, what's his face? Where is he? He's got to be here. White Boy Bobby. He was so cool. White Boy Bobby was great. And he was one of the people who like got her out of there, made sure that she was safe. Thinking about the story from the beginning, when he saves the girl, like I was saying, where he's not a good guy whatsoever. He's literally a high-profile elite assassin who kills a bunch of people. One of his friends even said, "Oh, at least I don't get off on murder." And then, oh, he has a switch. He has a heart of gold. Now we're supposed to root for him. He kills all of his teammates to save a little girl. Like, his kill-to-death ratio is insane in this movie. Yeah, he's just not a good guy in general, but I guess we have to root for him. Whatever. At least John Wick, he is like, he's the hero. He's fighting for a good cause. His dog died. In this, he just has a opinion switch. And going along with this, he's just not a good guy. Him and his buddy, Arian, Ito and Arian, they had this gangster setup. And then they just decided to walk away from it to become these elite assassins and literally leave all their friends behind. They left White Boy Bobby and, what's his face? And Faith behind. Faith was awesome. I really, really liked Faith. So they left those two behind with some bad blood there, just because they wanted to become these elite assassins. And then they just have a heart switch. It's like, okay, whatever. So yeah, then he saves the girl, brings him back to the apartment. And then I really did like the stuff where his buddies, including White Boy Bobby, who they had a little beef with, but then they just got over it real quick because, we got to save this young girl. Those moments were nice where they were feuding, trying to decide what to do, trying to be morally right, kind of, these gangsters. And then this whole fight breaks out where the people that he screwed over, the elite overseers of this elite assassin group, they come for them, and then they have these henchmen. They have these two women henchmen who come, who are kind of like very like comic booky, with not only their appearance but their action. One of them has this weird this ball on a string, and it like scissors people's necks and stuff, which was cool, I guess. She had kind of the vibe of the girl from Angel Dust, which was cool because I love that movie. But alas, they were just weirdly stylized comic book villains for no reason. But okay, I guess I was fine with it. I didn't really care when they were like doing their fights that much, honestly, because it's like they don't have any emotional involvement, and that's why the fight at the end was the best. I think a lot of the middle is seen to me as a bit of a filler, where it's like they're fighting these really high up women assassins, no emotional investment. They just have to get out. They go in the parking lot. There's this crazy stuff where he like literally, that fight went on for so long. The little girl like shoots a guy in the face. Then Faith dies. All right, they got this girl out, still trying to get this girl out. Blah, blah, blah. Then the savior, the operator, the good woman assassin comes in and saves the day for no reason. Maybe she was coming in to kill them, but then he said the right words and said, I want to protect this girl. And then she was like, all right, I'm on your side now. A lot of switching of sides, All in all, is to say, the whole movie was just, to me, how it went was heart of gold premise. Okay, we've seen it a million times, but it can lead to good things. Mindless action, and then the real good fight at the end between the two main guys, the two raid guys. You have Arian, who was trying to help him a bit and was trying to talk to him for a bit, but then he's like, nah, I want to be a part of this assassin group, actually. This is what I've worked for. We were two young kids, broke kids, and we made it. Who would have thought? And now you're going soft for this little girl? It's a matter of honor. We have to fight. And it's like, these guys are so full of themselves. When people have to fight for honor, it's like, come on, get over yourself, bro. That's just my opinion. I mean, yeah, the final fight was cool. And then the final shot of the movie, he's just like running into them with his car after the little girl saved, which was like, it was cool. He was screaming. It was very emotional. Little girl was saved, which I guess she was the only actual like harmless person in this entire movie. Harmless as in she doesn't get hurt and she's morally fine compared to everybody else. in general, it was fine. I thought it was fine. I thought it was, it was a good time. Happy to watch a Indonesian action flick. The actors all did a good job. The fighting was brutal. It was crazy. We're just like, hey, if you're into that, hey, give it a shot. It was a good one. I enjoyed it.